All right, so today we wanted to talk about the 5 love languages because that's kind of the personal development we're getting into right now, just for our couples group and kind of just to grow in our own relationship. And we've done the 5 love languages test before, but I mean, I think it's good to do it more than once, just over time, because I even feel like from when we started dating to first getting married to now, mine at least, has changed a little bit. So I think that's just kind of with becoming a mom and like how our lives are now. So whether you've done it before or maybe you've never done it, I think you should definitely get the book, The 5 Love Languages. It's by Gary Chapman, and I'm proud that I remembered that. And at the end of the book, there is the little quiz. It's like 30 questions, just what do you prefer, and it tells you a ranking of your 5 love languages. So would you like to tell them what the 5 love languages are in case they don't know?
Yes, the 5 love languages are acts of service, gifts, physical touch, words of affirmation, and quality time.
Oh, interesting. You forget the ones that aren't yours.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you go through the test and it kind of gives you, depending on how many answer on each, it puts you in the category that when you think about it after the fact, you start to think about spots where you really appreciate someone doing something else, or you really appreciate physical touch. And when you listen or when you see the results of the test, I think it kind of clicks in your brain that, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So my top 2, so on the quiz you can get up to 12 for each one. So my top 2 were both 9s, and that was quality time and acts of service. So I appreciate or love when we spend time together, just the 2 of us, and I appreciate when he does things for me. Like yesterday when he ran the vacuum and I came home, that just made me feel good because that's something that I like to do. I didn't have time to do it, but I wanted it done, so like having that done, that just makes me feel good. And then my bottom ones, which was really weird, were the other 3. I was like a 3, a 5, and maybe a 7 on those ones. So pretty low were the 3 that Kyle is highest in. So his were all 7s, his highest, and they're physical touch, gifts, and words of affirmation.
Yeah, so mine were spread out a little bit more. When I'm going through that test, there's a lot of them I feel like were toss-ups for me. But obviously, she knows physical touch is up there.
I think that's all guys, and it's just their excuse to get some touching.
It's my love language.
Right, yeah. That's my love language. You have to let me do this.
Yeah. Let you do that.
No, I don't know. That's inappropriate.
Then the words of affirmation, and what we just talked about before, you aren't that high on that, but it's kind of a big deal to me. Like, I like to hear positive things or compliments. Like, it's weird. I guess that maybe that's weird for a guy. I don't know, but
well, I hate to hear them, so I don't know if that's weird for a girl. I don't know.
Possibly. And then gifts, and gifts, I feel like.
Well, here's the thing. You don't want to seem materialistic, like I like gifts and that makes me feel loved, but it's not the actual gift that you
Right.
want. It's the thought behind it, that someone saw something, thought of you, and went out of their way to get it for you, and like to surprise you with that. And like, I feel like gifts isn't really mine. I don't care, but then it's like, I do love when you bring me home flowers for no reason, or a card, or that kind of a thing. So it's not like, oh, I went out and bought you something ridiculously expensive. It's just the thought that goes with that, and I think you do like that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think you don't, like we said before I even took the test, it's like, I don't need anything, but the gifts that I think they talk about in the test, or you would, that really means something, or it's not like it's something you need, it's just a little thing to say, I was thinking of you, or something like that. And that is a lot more special than, some materialistic gift that you're getting.
Right. Yeah, so it's kind of cool to see what your love language is, and then also kind of how you show love. So I think there is a test out there that can help you, but I think once you take the test that like how you show love. And for me, it's definitely doing acts of service, so doing things for the people that I love. And it's probably one of my worst qualities that Kyle doesn't like about me, is that I can't say no. But if someone asks me to help them out or do something for them, I will. If I love you, I will do it if I physically can. And that's one thing I also have to work on, some boundaries with saying no and not helping people all the time. But that's just how I feel like I show it the most. What about you?
I think acts of service, really, I'm not to your level, but I like to try to do things like vacuuming, or like little things like getting gas in the car, because I know that you're going to have the 2 kids and be running somewhere and be late and driving on empty, because you always do. So if I can take time on a Sunday and go fill up the tank,
I do appreciate that.
it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Or, when you took the kids swimming and I had the house to myself, it's like, well, there's a ton of things I got to get done, but I know, like vacuuming, I knew that would be appreciated. And gifts, I like to get things for you. It's just kind of, I guess that's my love language. That's how I show love, is I try to get little things every here and there, and just to show that I'm thinking of you, I guess.
Yeah. So we were talking about how, before we did this video, we were talking about how do we show love to each other? How do we incorporate these love languages into our lives? And for me, being someone who loves quality time, this is what I was saying is why you should take it later, is I thought I was for sure quality time, because I've always been like that. When people spend time with me or want to hang out with me or like pay attention to me, and maybe that's because I'm a middle child. There's so much psychology in these things, but I was always, looking for attention, not wanting to be the center of attention, but when I got some, it was like, ooh, you guys remember me. I'm not stuck in the middle. And then, just when you're with a guy and he wants to, choose you over his friends or other things, like that just makes you feel so good. So I thought, oh yeah, definitely quality time. But now that we're married and I actually get a lot of quality time, I think acts of service is coming out as my leader, because now it's like I get the quality time, so that's full. And I just have so many responsibilities as the stay-at-home wife and mom that it's like some help that definitely makes me feel loved. So I think it's really important to, check back in. Maybe you were something before and now you're not. But anyway, that was a tangent. The main thing I was going to say is when you're showing love, you need to figure out each other's. And if you haven't done that yet, and even if you do, I think it's important to keep all 5 in your mind and to do them all, because they're all going to make that person feel loved. You can't only do physical touch, even though I know that's what Kyle wants to do. But I know, he knows what I need and I know what he needs now, and we've talked about that and we communicate, but it's always good to, why would you not just try to hit all 5, because you're showing love, it's not gonna hurt.
It's all positive.
Yeah. So I think when we started our fitness routine, it was for our own selves, just to feel better and be better and look better and all that stuff. Just, we were in a rut. But as time goes on, it's like filling a love language for us that we can both spend some quality time together, working on ourselves in a positive way, being up before the kids, that I think is filling my love tank a lot, because when we weren't doing it, not that I was like, oh, you don't love me, but it's like this just is like such a simple thing to like make us both feel connected.
Right, and I mean, especially when once the baby was here and I was back to work, and it's like I get home at 5 or 6 and Vince wants to play. You've held the baby the entire day. Everything's crazy. Somebody's got to make dinner. So when I get home, it's like there's no time there. I mean, yeah, the baby can go to bed and Vince can entertain himself for an amount of time, but the morning is really just us. And it's, I mean, it's like tripled the time I feel like we spend together during the week.
On a normal day, yeah.
And it's huge. I mean, I love having that morning. And, you know, the other thing with being up in the morning and working out together, not only is quality time, but I can make breakfast for you, which I did a long time ago. And that, I mean, that's a love language for me. Like, I like to be able to make food in the morning.
And I appreciate it, because if you don't, I'm not going to eat.
And I know that.
I just don't have time. That is true. So there's acts of service there.
Mm-hmm.
There's words of affirmation too. Like, we're proud of each other for working out. Like, we talk nicely to each other because we're in a good mood when we first wake up, and you know, we get to actually, I don't know, have quality conversation rather than, you know, just passing through during the day.
Right.
So there's like all kinds of things. And then gifts. Hello, you are always buying me workout clothes. And I asked for shaker cups. I got shaker cups. Everybody saw that video where I had a broken shaker cup. It's just like stuff like that. Okay, so now we have another thing we can bond on. You know, like I saw and even you lost all this weight and all your clothes are too big, so I can go out and just say, oh, well, I know you need a t-shirt because you're not a large, extra large anymore, you're a medium. So like thinking of each other in those ways, that's like another love language. So I think this is...
And let's be serious.
Oh gosh, this is gonna make me embarrassed.
I mean, the physical touch definitely...
I really have to cover my face.
That's increased since we've started working out.
Oh my gosh. It has though, because
I can't...
when you feel confident and you find your partner attractive, like, it's so much easier to say yes. So you're right, this really has helped all of our areas of love. And I think that's also from doing personal development changed our mindsets to just be more aware of, I don't know, like filling each other's needs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's something that's probably, I mean, you can lose sight of it very easily if you aren't actively paying attention.
Yeah.
Especially because life will get in the way. I mean, that's what happened to us. We were in a rut, but it was just, you know, we didn't feel great all the time. We'd eat out all the time. We'd binge watch TV, not pay attention to each other, not pay as much attention to Vince. I mean, everything was happening at once.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not actively trying to, you know, find spots to do one of the 5 languages, it gets away from you fast.
Yeah, so there's this quote that I always think of. You guys know I don't know who says what, but it said something like, if you're not working on your marriage, then you're working on your divorce. And I think that sounds scary because it's like, wait, what? Who said we're getting a divorce? But it's like, if you're not actively investing in your relationship, you're going to grow apart. Like, there's going to be distance. And I mean, going to physical touch, which is my least favorite topic, they say, like, if you stop or you get in a rut, or like say you haven't done it in a while, like the longer you don't do it, the longer the rut or the
harder it is to get back into it.
then you are just like, I'm not doing it. And like, I'm sure, especially to parents, new parents, that can happen quickly. Because we had a drought. We've had droughts where it's like, we got to do it now, whether we want to or not, so that we get back into doing it. Mm-hmm. And that's way more than I ever wanted to say on this topic. But
it's true. I mean,
it is.
And and going back out of physical touch, just to work, like, yeah, that quote sounds scary, but at the same time, working on it doesn't have to be, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's hard.
And the word work, it's not even that. It's
yeah,
just,
if you're doing these things, then you're working on it. I mean,
right.
you're actively doing something for your partner, and I think that's the biggest thing, is just to not lose sight of those. Keep doing little things, and if you keep doing the little things, I mean, you'll just feel better about them every time you do them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely get to know what your love language is, how you show love, how your partner wants to be shown love, and make those the predominant ones. And then obviously just hit all 5, I think, just to be safe. Why not? And I mean, if you're in love with your partner and you are working on yourselves and you have all this positivity, it's not going to be a challenge to do these things. They come pretty naturally, I would say.
Right, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Is, they say work and hard work keeps marriage. I mean, these are 5 kind of broad topics, but if you're being positive and you're trying to grow your marriage, it's pretty easy to do things. I mean, I know I did read a book a long time. I don't even remember who it was by, but the guy had grown seriously apart from his wife. They were basically 2 people just living in the same house, and the way he changed his mindset was he just woke up and said, "What can I do for you today?" And that's and he started doing. At first she was really mad because she was like, I hate you. Like, they were at that point. And then he every morning, even if she would be negative about it, he'd say, "What can I do for you?" And eventually she started letting him do things, and then that brought their marriage back from the brink. It's some popular author, but I can't even. It was a long time ago. I can't remember who it was by, but just if that's all it has to start off with, is what can I do for you today? Just think that way. I mean, yeah, that's just the act of service, but you could start there, and at least it's something.
I mean, and say something nice to somebody, or
Mm-hmm.
a hug, even. That's my favorite physical touch. Anything like simple like that. And it goes the same way. If you stop doing these things, or you're not, aware of your partner's love language, then you're not speaking the same language. So, like, even in the book, he talks about a guy kept saying, I would tell my wife she's so beautiful, and I would tell her, I love her, like, and just, he was a words of affirmation, like, all day, every day. Well, that's not her love language. So if all you were telling me was you're beautiful and you're good at something, like, that, to me, that's not my love language. I hate to say it because I don't want to seem like a giant B word, but, like, that means nothing to me. I'm like, okay, those are your words. Like, you can tell me my dinner is good every night, but I'm like, that doesn't make me feel loved. That's like, okay.
I'm still gonna keep telling you.
And you do keep telling me, and that's fine. But if you only told me that and you didn't, like, want to hang out with me or wouldn't help me out around here, like, then I could definitely see me being like, what? You don't even care about me. So it's weird, it really is, but you need to figure it out so that you're speaking the same language, because you don't want to just be giving what you think they want. You need to just give them what they actually need, if that makes sense.
It's all about communication.
It is. Oh, that's a whole nother video.
That's everything in life, honestly.
Yes, like, they should teach communication.
They have communication class.
But not like,
it's stupid.
But it's not like relational. Like, even how to communicate to your kids, how to communicate with your kids, how to communicate with anybody you have a conflict with, because nobody knows how to deal with conflict. How to communicate in a relationship, like,
communication or lack thereof is the biggest problem in society.
In the world, probably.
Yeah, no,
It is.
I can confidently say that is true.
Yep. Okay, so everybody love everybody. Figure out how to do it, and hopefully this is valuable information.
I hope so.
Yep.
All right, see you guys.